Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. And I hope you all are continuing to stay safe out there. I mean, we're still in a pandemic, despite the fact that a lot more people every day are getting vaccinated. But then there are some countries throughout the world who don't have the luxury of being vaccinated, and I'm talking about the great country of India. Just be sure to keep in your prayers, your thoughts, and send some positive vibes to India. I mean, it just seems like so many people are testing positive for COVID, and at an alarming rate. And I personally know some folks from India, and I personally know some folks that have family in India. And my thoughts and prayers are with y'all, and I can only hope that y'all can recover and then get some more back. And then just about everyone else who didn't test positive can get vaccinated. And then in due time, y'all can get vaccinated too. All right, while I've been away, I was working on something very exciting that I want to share with y'all at the end of the show. I tell you, it was really a labor of love, and something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I'm glad it's done, and I'm going to share that with y'all again at the end of the show. But for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, on last week's episode, or rather the last episode that I did, which was 2 weeks ago, I asked, who was the first superhero for Marvel Comics? Well, the correct answer was the Jim Hammond Human Torch. And 29 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their name's been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Andy Lezot from Plainville, Massachusetts. So congratulations, Andy. You're yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Superman question. Which Superman villain refuses to believe that Superman and Clark Kent are the same person? All right, now here are the hints. The first hint is that this villain made his debut in Superman number 23 back in the 1940s. And then the second hint is that Gene Hackman, Michael Rosenbaum, Kevin Spacey, and that's all I can. Oh, and his name slipped my mind. I just forgot his name. It'll probably come to me by the end of the episode. But all these people have played and John Shea. John Shea also played played this character on the big and small screens. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Alright, now Mia Darrington from Raleigh, North Carolina has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features the Amazon Princess going up against Marvel's favorite double agent. Representing DC, we have Wonder Woman, and representing Marvel, we have the Black Widow. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Wonder Woman versus Black Widow. Wonder Woman possesses superhuman strength, speed, reflexes, stamina, durability, agility, and longevity, regenerative healing factor, is a master hand-to-hand combatant and martial artist. She uses the lasso of truth, indestructible bracelets, projectile tiara, sword, and shield. She also possesses longevity and divine empowerment. Black Widow is an expert spy, tactician, and hand-to-hand combatant who possesses slow aging and mastery of various weapons. Her gauntlets grant her a grappling hook, knockout gas, taser, explosives, tear gas, pellets, and radio transmitter. Who would win? This would start out with hand-to-hand combat. Due to her speed, Wonder Woman would have the upper hand on Black Widow. Because of this, Black Widow resorts to the weapons on her gauntlets. Black Widow would shoot an explosive at Wonder Woman, but the latter would knock it out of the way. Wonder Woman tries to generate some offense of her own with her lasso of truth, but this proves to be unsuccessful due to Black Widow's gymnast and acrobatic skills. Black Widow then uses her taser against Wonder Woman. This pretty much spells the beginning of the end of this fight because Wonder Woman absorbs a lethal charge from the taser. She then removes her bracelets and reveals the power that she inherited from her dear old dad. She becomes living thunder. Black Widow frantically shoots her with her Glock, but the bullets bounce off of Wonder Woman. The latter then ends the fight by delivering a lethal headbutt to Black Widow. Wonder Woman wins. And that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, thank you, Mia Darrington, for that fight. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll have it over next week. And if y'all want to request some, go ahead and do it. I will gladly take your request as long as it's nothing over the top. Now it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there's only two things we're going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking, and here's the first. Now, I thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly enjoyed all 6 episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, every time that I or just about anyone watches any episode of this show, I mean, you swear that you were watching a movie. And, I mean, I tell you, Malcolm Spellman and Kerry Scoglin did such a great job writing and directing, respectively, this, this limited series. And, I mean, it was great. Of course, when I think about it, there were like several different story arcs going on. I mean, it was the Flag Smashers, and then U.S. Agent, and then kind of the beginning of the first few issues of when Sam Wilson was Captain America. And I'm just, wow, it's just mind blowing. I mean, just when you think that words just can't describe. And it ends. The final episode has Sam Wilson finally taking on the mantle of Captain America, as Steve Rogers wanted him to do at the end of Avengers Endgame, and he really knocked it out of the park. I mean, he took down with the help of Bucky and then several others, he helped take down the Flag Smashers, and then there was an extra scene where Sharon Carter was pardoned for her crimes because they felt that accusing her of all that stuff was tarnishing the name of her family name. Of course, her great aunt Peggy Carter was a founding member of S.H.I.E.L.D. and so she was. And so I think this, and I believe after that is going to be the reformation of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's also going to set the tone for the next Captain America movie that Anthony Mackie will reprise his role as the Sam Wilson Captain America, and then also I believe Sebastian Stan will return as Bucky Barnes. And then of course we see the end of that episode where the John Walker takes on the mantle of U.S. Agent, and of course that happens in the comics. All this stuff. I mean, Malcolm Spellman. I mean, he's also set to write the upcoming Captain America movie, and then and I hope Kerry Scoglin directs it, because she did a great job. I'm telling you, you would think that you were watching a movie, but you really weren't. And I mean, it was just great. All right, now the second thing is that I recently completed reading the King in Black miniseries. And let me tell you, you would think that this was a Venom miniseries. It's not. It's actually a Marvel-wide miniseries, because in it, Null, who is of course the King in Black, ends up coming to Earth, and he envelops the entire Earth inside a symbiote. And the only reason is because he knows that there's some intergalactic Marvel characters that will come to Earth and help out at the drop of a hat. And he didn't want any of that, so that's the purpose of the symbiote. And a lot of this can kind of it's kind of similar to what's been going on in the world for the past year. I mean, with the COVID pandemic. I mean, you're having folks have been infected with the coronavirus, and in this miniseries, folks have been infected with symbiotes. And the only way to do away with this was a symbiote made of light. And this symbiote made of light was formerly known as Captain Universe, but it's only looking for one host, and that host, you might ask, Eddie Brock. So Eddie Brock takes on pretty much allows the symbiote allows himself to be the host of the symbiote. He goes in and takes down Null, and then also gets his son back. Oh, by the way, yeah, Eddie Brock is a dad. He had found out in an earlier issue of Venom that the little boy who he thought it was his brother was actually his son. And his name's Tyler, by the way, and he actually has like a telepathic link to any and all symbiotes, because he's pretty much human, but also he has traces of symbiote in his DNA. Because at the time that he was conceived, Eddie Brock had already become the host of the Venom symbiote. So yeah. So I really loved it. It's going to set the tone for a new miniseries coming in a few months called Extreme Carnage, and it's when Venom and all the other symbiotes that are in the Marvel Universe are going to take on Carnage. I don't know if it's Cletus Cassidy, although at this rate it probably is. Because after what happened in the Absolute Carnage miniseries, I mean, can't wait to read it. I mean, at first I really didn't care too much for Venom. But as I kept reading, I just became more and more intrigued with the character. Oh, and by the way, awesome news if you're a fan of the anti-Venom Flash Thompson. He came back from the dead at the end of Venom number 34, which is also a tie-in to the King of Black miniseries. And I mean, we all loved when Flash Thompson was Venom. And then when he took on Anti-Venom and he took in Venom Inc. and just took himself to a whole new level. I mean, Eddie Brock is great. I mean, when you think of Venom, that's that's the first character that comes to mind. But Flash Thompson, as Venom, has not only gone solo and teamed up with Spider-Man, he's also been a member of the Thunderbolts, and he's also been a Guardian of the Galaxy. So, I mean, I loved when Flash Thompson was Venom. I loved it when he was Anti-Venom. I hate that he died in The Amazing Spider-Man, but I'm glad he's back. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Action Comics number 1030. The Amazing Spider-Man number 64. Avengers number 45. Captain Marvel number 28. Catwoman number 30. Champions number 6. Detective Comics number 1035. Fantastic Four number 31. The Flash number 769. Justice League number 60. Really excited about this one. Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 25. This is the beginning of the Clone Saga. And I want y'all to see this. This is a double cover. I mean, isn't that just cool? There's a better shot of it, by the way. New Mutants number 17. Sword number 5. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 116. Really excited about this book. Way of X number 1. X-Force number 19. And finally, X-Men Legends number 3. Alright, that's 16, which brings the total number of comics that I've bought since December of 1997 to 10,590. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. And here's a question again for a free tea for next week's episode of the show. Which Superman villain refuses to believe that Clark Kent and Superman are the same person? Now, here are the hints again. This villain made his debut in Superman number 23 in the 1940s. And then, here's the second hint. And I finally remembered the other actor that played Lex Luthor. Anyway, Gene Hackman, John Shea, Jesse Eisenberg, Michael Rosenbaum, Kevin Spacey have all played this character on the big and small screens. And also, Clancy Brown played the voice of this character, or this villain, on Superman the Animated Series back in the 90s. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tea on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Anthony Lezok from Plainville, Massachusetts, who won a free tea on this week's episode of the show. Alright, it's the month of May, and this month there really aren't that many causes that I'm going to raise awareness of. However, I am going to celebrate Memorial Day at the end of the month, and I know that Memorial Day is when we honor the men and women that have served this country who are either killed in action or have died later in life. And I personally know some people that I know some people that have served this country and have passed on, and I know some people some family members of people who have served this country and either have died in action or have passed on later in life. And this episode is for y'all. Now here's the news that I want to share with y'all. After, it's been almost 8 years since I started doing the show. It will be 8 years at the beginning of October. And I have done a lot, on social media, but social media and all that. But it was time that I needed my own website, and just yesterday, I finally built my own website, and I published it for the public. It's called IamTheComicHero.com, and I'm encouraging each and every one of y'all to go on there. There's a My Story section. There's also a section where you can watch episodes of the show. Now there are links to episodes of the show rather, and so far I've only posted the links to episodes that have come out this calendar year so far. And then you're going to see this episode on there as well. When I get to uploading it and all that. And then also there's a shop section. There's right now I'm limiting it to so far I have like the shirt that I'm wearing right now is on there, and also the white version of it, which I'm going to wear on next week's episode, is going to be on there, and also superhero themed t-shirts, because come on, superheroes. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm all about. And then I have some super villain shirts. I think I have the Joker and the Riddler. And then also I have Comic Hero. I'm also selling Comic Hero trucker hats, and then Comic Hero cups. And then also there's a fan appreciation page. That's when now this is what I'm doing for everyone that wears shirts and sends pictures to me of them wearing shirts or sporting merch. Whatever picture anyone sends me, I post on there. Now there's more to come, but I just wanted to start with the basics. There's going to be a lot more sections that I'm currently brainstorming right now. But right now, I just wanted to keep it simple, just so y'all can check it out. If y'all have any suggestions for any other sections that you want to see on IamTheComicHero.com, let me know. But that's why I didn't do the show last week, because I wanted to focus my energies on the website. I mean, this was something that I've been wanting to do for years, and I'm finally glad and relieved that I've gotten it done. And yeah. But IamTheComicHero.com. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. All right, I'm Victor Nolly on The Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode what episode am I on? Oh man, episode 355. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.